up, Bulls Nation? You found yourselves locked on Bulls. I am Matt. That is Big Dave. It's Thursday night, and we're breaking down the Bulls' heartbreaking loss to the Atlanta Hawks, 131-24. Bulls couldn't get the sweep. Trae Young went berserker in that fourth quarter. I'm angry about it, but the anger will fade away because this is our last episode of Locked on Bulls, and we are all here to share in our fellow Bulls fandom. So let's do that, shall we? Let's go.
You are Locked on Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. Here are your hosts, Matt Peck and Big Dave Watson.
What's up and welcome in to Locked on Bulls, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Matt Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. You can follow my co-host, Big Dave Watson, at BOW, BAWL Sports. You can follow us at Locked on Bulls. Hit us up on that text to voicemail line, 331-979-1369. Big Dave, they couldn't get a W for us, man. Our last episode of Locked on Bulls, and the Bulls can't pull it out in Atlanta. Back and forth game. It looked for a while like the Bulls might actually pull that out. They had, a 6-point lead, a 4-point lead, back to a 6-point lead in the fourth quarter. DeMar was doing his thing earlier in the fourth quarter. And then down the stretch of the fourth quarter, two things happened. DeMar DeRozan has some uncharacteristic misses where he's like, hey, guys, guess what? I am human after all. I'm allowed to be human, right? And Trae Young with two of the damn iciest threes I have ever freaking seen. Oh, man. I mean, credit to the Hawks. They clearly really wanted that one. They did not want to be swept by the Bulls in the regular season.
No.
That hurts. That hurts, Dave. How you doing?
Yeah, it sucked. It definitely sucked. When Trae Young hit that second three, I called it the moment he went to the corner. I said, this game's over. Like, you could just see it. You know what I mean? After he hit that first one, when he went over to that corner, I just said, this game's over. This game's over. I just kept saying it. This game's over. This game's over. As soon as it went in, I was like, yeah, you felt it coming. He's just a special basketball player. And you give a guy that many times, that kind of turnaround, after a week, coming right back and playing against the Bulls, he had them circled. He did. He had that team circled, man. And yeah, he's a really good basketball player. I don't know if people know that, but Trae Young is a really, really excellent, good basketball player. And yeah, he did his thing. And also to Bogdanovich, I thought he had some crucial shots for them as well, man. He had some cold-blooded shots. He looked like the Bogdanovich I remember in those playoffs, that when they went to Eastern Conference Finals last season. Yeah, he was hitting some real just cold-blooded daggers against them. So it was those things. The defense was not good down the stretch. And the rebounding, even though they lost it by one, the timely rebounding that they couldn't do after they would play really solid defense for 23 seconds, they get the shot off and they couldn't corral the rebound, and they were giving second opportunities to the Atlanta Hawks, man, and it came back to bite them hard in the ass.
Hey, man. Billy Donovan talked about it after the game, especially when he was asked about putting Tristan Thompson and Vooch out there on the floor at the same time, which we had discussed we had not seen yet since Thompson's arrival. We saw it tonight. We saw it early, and then we saw it again late down the stretch. Thompson came in for Kobe with like 3.5 minutes to play, and they finished with that look on the floor. And Billy Donovan talked about wanting a little bit more size around the rim to try to, protect the rim and get those key rebounds. And there was that one long rebound after a miss, and Zach, it was just past Zach's fingertips. It ends up back in Atlanta's hands, and they get a bucket on a second chance opportunity. It sucks, man. It sucks when you see this team continue to struggle with that, key, like you said, in key moments, corralling defensive rebounds when you need those stops. But the Bulls put up 124 points tonight. It wasn't a juggernaut night for any of the big three, but they all scored 20 plus. Zach, DeMar, and Vooch. They got 15 from Io and Kobe, 15 each. I think DJJ, Javante, Tristan, and Troy combined to chip in like another 30. You put up 124. But this is what we've been talking about. Bulls' best chance at winning, maybe only chance at winning these days, is outscoring their opponent. You gave up 40 points in the fourth quarter. 40 points in the fourth quarter. Can't have that.
Can't have that and won't win like that. And I mean, a lot of people would point to the free throw disparity, which was ridiculous. I mean, I'm not saying that it absolutely wasn't, but when one person shoots more free throws than your whole team, yeah, that's pretty ridiculous, man. Bogdanovic, I believe, had 6 of 6. Trae Young didn't miss from the line. He had 10 free throws. But yeah, when he shoots, when you got a team with DeMar DeRozan and you're only getting 7 attempts at the line, data tells me that you're not getting those calls or you're not going to the rim. It's either one of those two things right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they took a lot of jump shots because remember early on, they were hitting their threes. They were in a really good rhythm. They were moving the ball. They were passing the ball. And it looked good. But like you said, it came down to that fourth quarter and they just, it just all fell apart for them. But the thing, Matt, about those points that you mentioned about DeRozan, Vooch, and Zach LaVine that they scored, those are nice. But it was the free throw disparity, I thought, that didn't push it over. You know what I'm saying? Like they would have had more
28
points
to 7, right? Free throw attempts,
right,
28 to 7.
Correct. That's 2 touchdowns. That's about 3 touchdowns. Like
God.
It's the fact DeMar's 22 would have been 29. You know what I'm saying? Usually that's what that is. And Zach's 22 maybe be 26 if these guys get to the free throw line. But it's no excuse for those guys not to get there. But again, I don't even fault that as the reason that they lost. I'm just pointing out, what it is. I'm just pointing out a fact. But I don't even fault that. It was just not getting those loose balls when they had the opportunity to get them after they made really, really solid defensive efforts. And that defense in the fourth quarter, I mean, it was trash. And they gave up 40 points against the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, it's just completely unacceptable.
I mean, Billy talked about after the game saying, most times when you see that kind of free throw discrepancy, the coach will complain about it after the game and find me if you want to, but this needs to be said. Billy said, no, I thought we fouled entirely too much. And, that is a problem for the Bulls. I think they did foul a lot, but the Hawks were baiting them into those fouls and the Hawks were aggressive.
Yeah.
Whereas the Bulls were not. And look, DeMar, we know he loves to operate in the mid-range. He also attacks the basket. We've talked about how he's been frustrated recently with a lack of calls when driving to the basket. I don't know why in this recent stretch of game he hasn't been getting those calls he's been accustomed to. But I think the other key part of this is Zach. And the fact that not healthy Zach is not driving to the basket as much. I saw our pal Ricky O'Donnell from Cash Considerations had a tweet after this one saying that only 27% of the Bulls shots tonight came at the rim. 27%. That is nothing. When you have a guy like DeMar who can attack, when you have a slasher and a guy who can attack like Zach LaVine, not to mention a big like Vooch, that number should not be that low. But the Bulls were not, they did not attack the basket tonight. I saw somebody in the comments even mention, even when the Bulls got the Hawks in foul trouble. What I mean, like you get yourself in the bonus and you don't attack the basket. Yeah. Zach did have that one late in the fourth quarter where Zach just said, F this, and put his head down and drove and forced the refs to blow the whistle because he created contact with like 3 different Hawks defenders, none of whom had their feet set. But that was the one. That was the one example you saw of the Bulls trying to get to the line. Yeah. Zach and DeMar combining for 4 free throw attempts.
Unacceptable. DeMar DeRozan should not have more fouls than free throws. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just insane to me. But yeah, you're right, man. Like I said, it's either you're not getting the calls or you're not going to the basket. It was either or on those things. And I think they fell in love with that 3-point shot early on because Zach, was 4 of 7 from the 3-point line. Kobe White, 3 of 5. Troy Brown Jr. hit all of his. He was 3 of 3, which was a welcome sight seeing Troy Brown Jr. actually, hit some threes out there. That was a really welcome sight and actually be active on the defensive end. I thought he had a great play when he chased down one of the defenders and poked that ball away from the Atlanta Hawks player when they were trying to go the other way. I thought that was an awesome play by him. But yeah, man, like you look at interior, Matt, when I see that, I immediately just look at Vooch. You think of that. You look at your big man, you look at your 7-footer, and you're like, okay, I know Zach is dealing with the knee thing, so I can excuse him not going to the bucket all the time. DeMar DeRozan kind of lives in the mid-range. We know where he's at. We know what we've seen you do as far as where your success has been this season. It's been when you go ahead and you get inside and you play from the inside outside. So when him not getting inside and getting those points that way for the Bulls, yeah, that weighs heavy. Vooch got on my nerves tonight for sure. he did a couple things tonight for me that got on my nerves for real.
That dump off pass to Tristan Thompson late in the game when they were both on the floor. Like, Vooch, it looked like you had a clear path to dunk that.
Yeah, seriously.
Or at least go up and get fouled. And you know what? Vooch is a better free throw shooter than Tristan Thompson is.
Correct. Correct.
He
did, and he did it twice. There were 2 opportunities he saw Tristan Thompson under the bucket and did not get him the basketball. You can chalk that up to them not playing together or whatever. No, when you're a 10+ year veteran, I don't chalk that up to not playing together. You recognize when somebody is in that lane and is tall and big and you get them the basketball, period. You don't cross court a pass over here to the baseline on a terrible angle. Like, it was just a bad decision. And then he, like you said, he didn't get the ball and go to the bucket. Like, why are you dumping it off to Tristan? Was going up for the rebound. Like, he was ready to get the board. So no, man, that stuff he has to know. He's got to do better at that.
All right. I do want to also kind of take a look at the Eastern Conference standings as they stand tonight and have a realistic talk about what Bulls fans should expect. We got to come full circle with pessimist Matt. This is where it all began, Dave. This is where it all began.
Oh my goodness. He said it like a father too. Like, oh my God. Got to talk about your homework, Johnny.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. We will do that next. But first, today's episode brought to you by BetOnline. Football season might be over, but the NBA and college hoops are in full swing, y'all. From all the latest odds, totals, player performance props, to where the next fired coach is going to land. Heck, you can even bet on when the Major League Baseball season is going to start or whether it will at all. That sounds like something fun to bet on, and you do it at BetOnline, which remains the best spot for all your sports scores and news this season. It's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your source for NHL hockey, boxing, and even UFC fights. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. Big Dave, where do I go? I go to BetOnline. You know why I go to BetOnline? Because it's where the game freaking starts, y'all.
Boom! In your face.
All right, so after being down big, the Miami Heat come back and win against the Brooklyn Nets tonight. Miami now a solid hold on the 1 seed at 42-22. With the Bulls lost tonight, they go into a virtual tie win-loss-wise with the Sixers in the 2-3 spot. Philly's 38-23, Bulls 39-24. Philly has a slight edge based on winning percentage. Then the Bucks right there in the 4th seed at 38-25, 1 game back of Philly and Chicago. Yeah. You know what's up with Philly and Chicago? I mean, what's up with Philly and Milwaukee? We got to play Milwaukee tomorrow night, and then you got to play Philly on Monday.
Boom.
Here's what I got to tell you, Bulls Nation. Any of you who were like rooting for a Miami loss tonight because you're still thinking about that 1 seed, join me in reality, won't you? Join me in reality, won't you? This Bulls team with a sub-100 Zach LaVine and the god-awfulest defense that we have seen over the last month until Alex and Lonzo get back, this is what we got. We got a good offense, a piss-poor defense, and a mediocre team. That's it. The East is stacked. Other teams are playing better than we are right now, and what you should be hoping for is avoiding that play-in tournament. What? The Bulls are 4 games clear of the 7th seed right now.
Yeah.
Did I just tell you the next 2 teams we have to play?
Yeah.
That is where we are.
Okay.
If the Bulls can finish 6th or better, which is what I wanted when this entire season began, Dave, I will be happy. I will be a happy camper and cross my fingers and hope for a winnable matchup in the first round. But Bulls fans who are stomping their feet tonight and angry about this loss, call it a bad loss if you want to, whatever. You kissed the 1 seed goodbye when those players got hurt. And if you're just waking up to that now, well, welcome. This is what being awake is.
Oh man, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Actually, Jay Lauer, we didn't say 18-5, we said 15-8. But
Correct.
I hear you, Matt. I hear you. I agree with you that I didn't think they would be holding on to the 1 or the 2 or even the 3. I agree with you there. I am nowhere near thinking about them falling out anywhere close to the play-in game. That's not even in my brain. It doesn't make mathematical sense in my brain, even though it makes mathematical sense on paper. You can look at it and say they can lose 4 straight games and get up out of there. No, they'll be all right. They'll be okay. I don't believe it. I won't believe it. I won't stand for it. Like Matt said, if they do fall to a 6 seed, he'll be happy camper. That's because we kind of had them at the 6 seed. That's where we thought the Bulls would be. But all this, I think, will be interesting, Matt. This is going to be such an interesting week coming up because at the end, next Friday, we hit that 6-week mark. That's going to be a big number for Bulls fans because that 6 to 8 week thing is going to be right there. So we're talking about Caruso and we're talking about Lonzo, and I'll even throw Patrick Williams in there as well. But that's going to be huge. So these games they got coming up during this week, you can't understand it looks insurmountable, you know what I'm saying, against the team that you're playing, but you got to play on the floor. You got to get out there and you got to play, and we'll see what happens when that goes down. Who knows? The Bulls might be playing inspired ball because of Dick Grayson and playing at home like that. The fans, and I need the fans out there to give them that joke, give them that charge. Maybe that will encourage them to win because no matter what Matt said, Matt really wants to win this game against the Milwaukee Bucks. There's no way he doesn't want Grayson Allen to have this victory. He wants this victory from them. So I'm looking at it a little differently. And I'm not crapping on anything you said because I don't think it's not incorrect. It's just not how I look at it. I don't see that doom and gloom yet. I just see a team that's, on that ship, and it's some holes in that ship, and they got to keep plugging, and guys got to keep hammering away to keep from sinking right now, man, until we get some more men back that can help us continue down this rough, rocky ocean that's going on right now.
This Bulls defense is a screen door on a submarine, man.
It's not good. It's not the best, man.
Speaking of this game against the Bucks tomorrow night, and what you said just there, did you see what Tristan's thoughts were when he was asked about it after the game?
No, tell me.
Tristan Thompson on Grayson Allen and the Bucks coming to the UC tomorrow night. Shit. Take one of my dogs out like that, we're going to have issues. So you got to set the tone. That's what Bulls basketball is about, setting the tone. What he did affected one of our guys, and I don't think anyone should forget about that. So I'm pretty sure the United Center is going to be rocking tomorrow. I think guys have it in the back of their head. And if guys want to play chippy, let's play chippy. I like it. I like a little blood and sweat. I enjoy it.
I like it.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that. However, I mean, can we use Tony Bradley instead? Like we can't have Tristan Thompson getting a 5-game suspension. We can't afford that right now.
No, we're not. Tristan knows how to play within the lines. He's a veteran. He knows how to play within the lines. And
I don't want within the lines tomorrow night.
No, I'm saying Matt.
I want Grayson Allen leaving the United Center in a hospital cart, in a friggin' ambulance, maybe a body bag. I don't know, but I want that dude to bleed tomorrow.
Here's what I predict: if Matty Legend comes out there and gives Grayson Allen that whooping that you want, Matt Peck will buy a Matt Thomas jersey. That's what I predict. That is a prediction for me. You will get a Matt Thomas jersey.
You can't just put that on me.
Yes, I can. I put it right on you. Right on your chest. I put it right there, sir. Right across your chest, right across the back, you're going to see that Thomas. He already got the same first name. Come on, man. Like, go and get you a Matty Legend.
I refuse. You would have to even go the route of ordering a custom jersy.
Yes.
It's not like they make Matt Thomas jerseys. Matt Thomas doesn't even have a Matt Thomas jersey.
When he gets to the UC, it's like, guys, you got one ready? Some back order.
The Bulls just had some old Kurt Thomas jerseys lying around, and they're like, here, wear this.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. But, dude, it's going to be rocking. Like, honestly, the UC, and I love that Tristan. This is why I wanted him here. You know what I'm saying? I want that kind of thing because he's next game. This game already is out of his mind. He's like, well, we're moving on to this next game. And that's kind of it's kind of good to have a guy with a championship pedigree, that has been in those real fights and those real wars. You know what I'm saying? and knows what it takes to come out with those victories, even though you might not be picked to win a basketball game. He knows what it kind of takes to get that. So I'm interested to see it because I think, Matt, again, we're going to see that Vooch, Tristan Thompson lineup again, in my opinion, going against the bigger team in the Milwaukee Bucks. So it's going to be interesting to see, man, going forward, man. But I can't wait to watch this game, bro, because we're going to have this going to be spit, glue, and grease to get this victory right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't going to be no finesse on this game, bro. It's going to be spit, glue, and grease, blood and sweat and tears and all that stuff.
And, the Bulls are looking for some payback. They are, not only the loss, but the loss of Caruso the last time these teams faced, and they see Milwaukee breathing down their neck in these Eastern Conference standings. Like, this is it.
Coming.
You got to show up for this game.
Bad you want it.
But boy, you just used some legs in this game against Atlanta, trying to eke that one out. So the Bulls are going to be a little tired there. Hey, Sweaty Bloke, I see you in the comments, by the way. You're the dude who thought I was fake in Hayes' stream last Saturday. You think this is fake? How's this for fake? Why don't I fake your face? How about that, Sweaty Bloke? I'm going to fake your face. I love you.
We getting it all out.
Getting it all out tonight, y'all.
Getting it all out, man.
One last time.
One more again.
Until we continue doing it somewhere else. Big Dave.
Yeah.
One more ad read, baby. Tell the people.
Oh, well, I know it's the last time, but even though it's the last time, your stomach don't know that. Your stomach want to eat, and it wants something good, and also it wants something healthy. Will you go ahead and you say stomach? Here it comes. Built Bars right in your face. Delicious, nutritious. Oh, and you want some more. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, 17 grams of protein, and they are all covered in 100% real chocolate. And yes, they even come in the puffs. You want that marshmallowy, fluffy goodness also that's in the protein bar? Go ahead, get you some of them puffs, man. But if you don't want to get down with the puffs, well, how about you get you some mint brownie? How about you get you some coconut? How about you get you some coconut almond? And Matt Peck, one more time, could you tell people the flavor of the month, please?
One of the most popular flavors they've ever made that was gone, and now it's back for a limited time. Peanut butter. Is there anything better than peanut butter and chocolate?
So go ahead and go to built.com. Use that promo code LOCK15. Get yourself 15% off of your order. Use the promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at built.com. Built Bar. We love you, Rockapella.
I see you, Paul D. I see you in the comments. And Sweaty Bloke just said, well, at least we can both agree that Grayson Allen should be in a body bag tomorrow night. Yes.
Yes, we can. We can agree on this.
Bulls fans can always find common ground.
Common ground.
All right, so
I
see a lot of people in the comments asking, have they made their announcement yet? Where are you going? What's going on? So you guys may have seen some stuff over the last 48 hours or so. A couple of teaser videos that I have dropped, that Dave has dropped, and you may have seen some other people in Chicago sports media with similar subtle little droppage. We will be continuing to do Daily Bulls podcasts. On top of that, we will be doing pre and post game content for you guys, streaming on YouTube, and then also distilled into our podcast feed. If you guys watch this podcast and have for a while, listen to this podcast, you might also be familiar with a little Bulls podcast by the name of Bulls HQ, hosted by a couple of guys, Mark K. Down Under, Mark Caranzolis, and Will Gottlieb, formerly of The Athletic in Chicago. You might want to keep your eye on that Bulls HQ podcast feed. It might look a little different next week, might have a different name on it, but that feed might be something you want to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And tomorrow at 8 a.m. Chicago Central Time, you might want to be keeping an eye on Twitter and on your social medias for a little announcement about our next venture that Dave and I will be working on together alongside Will Gottlieb, alongside Mark K., and alongside a bunch of other incredible, incredible people in the world of Chicago sports media who we are all very excited to work with. People love the song YMCA, Dave. I feel like maybe there's a new song that might need to be made called CHGO.
That boy Peck with the bars. And let me say something else to the people right there, just to even put more tease on what my man Matt just did right there. I see a lot of y'all in the comments and have been asking and saying a lot of things like, guys, does this mean Outsiders 2.0? Is that what's happening? You guys are bringing that back? Does that mean, is that what's going on? Are you bringing out the Outsiders 2.0? I'm not saying yes, but I'm not saying no either. I'm just saying, stay tuned. That's what I'm telling you. Stay tuned. We got something special for y'all. That's all I know. And we think y'all enjoy it.
The man with the fingerless gloves?
That sounds like a James Bond movie. but yeah, we got
the man with the fingerless gloves.
Yeah, we got some awesome things going on with some awesome people and some people that you guys love and respect. So yeah, it's gonna be some cool things going on. Just stay tuned, but everything will be unveiled tomorrow, 8 a.m. March 4th.
And no, Gambit, we are not going to Barstool.
No,
no,
we're not going to Barstool.
I do have a shred of dignity and self-respect.
That's why you got the mustache.
Exactly. So that's it. Stay tuned. There's going to be a huge blast tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Chicago Central Time, when everything goes public. But keep your eye on that Bulls HQ feed, which will become our new feed for our Daily Bulls podcasts. We'll also be doing Bulls pre and post game content for you guys. Will's going to be leading up our writing and reporting element of our Bulls content over there. We are very, very excited and looking forward to it, and looking forward to continue to serve all of you guys out there in Bulls Nation with the content that you've come to expect from us. So I guess really the last thing that we have to say and talk about is thank yous. Jordan Malley and I took over this podcast in November of 2017. And we had a little podcast before that called The Debatables. Some of you out there listening now may have been listening to us all the way back then. And to those of you, I say mad respect and thank you. Even back in 2017, the Locked On Podcast Network was fairly young. It was, all things considered, in its infancy. And it was a little idea that grew and grew and grew. And over the 4.5 years that I've been a part of it, co-hosting this Locked On Bulls podcast, it has presented so many other opportunities to me. Everything that I have managed to build as someone who talks about the Bulls on social media all day is because of this podcast and the fact that you people out there are crazy enough to listen to it. And for the life of me, I don't know why you actually enjoy listening to it. Some of you even 5 times a week. I mean, I live with myself 7 days a week, and it's hard. So I don't know how some of you out there live with me 5 days a week. The reason that Dave and I know each other is because I've been hosting this podcast, and that Locked On Bulls got the attention of NBC when they brought people in for Bulls Outsiders. Big Dave and I would not be colleagues and friends were it not for this podcast. And I think that to me will always be the biggest takeaway from my time here. Not to take anything away from all of the fun that I've had making episodes of this podcast. Far too many. Far too many. But it's because of this podcast that Dave and I now are moving on to our next chapter and doing so together. And that, coupled with interacting with my fellow Bulls fans on a daily basis, is what I will always, always treasure about this job.
Yeah. I always say I'm so grateful to Bulls Nation for the acceptance of me. Because you didn't have to. You could have just said, no, we don't want you to get out of here with all that hair and all them hats. We ain't got time for all that, all your funny voices and singing, all your album covers, all these weirdo things. Like, get out of here with all that. But nah, man, y'all embraced me in such a way that is crazy. And like, I know some people knew me from, Bulls Outsiders. Some know me from, Ball on Bulls and things like that. But it wasn't until Locked On Bulls that you guys really felt you guys kind of just opened up your arms and kind of just held me, and embraced me and brought me in to the fold. And I really, really appreciate that. And it means a lot to me. So whenever we talk, like, it's never far from my mind that we're talking not only as fans, but for fans. And we always kind of want that to come across, and we want to convey that in every kind of message that we send out when we're talking about the Chicago Bulls, man. And we just really appreciate y'all, man. And Bulls Nation, just thank you. Just thank you, because we, like Matt said, we wouldn't even be here, you know what I'm saying, without y'all, and y'all saying that, you know what, you guys, y'all should be doing this. We enjoy what you're doing. Keep doing it. So thank y'all for allowing us to basically stand on your shoulders, and elevate us, and allowing us to continue to grow and continue to be weird and silly and continue to talk about these Bulls, man. And we're going to keep at it. We're going to keep going, and hopefully we'll continue to make y'all proud, man. But we love y'all. Thank you.
I mean, I don't really know what to do. I mean, like I know that we've already been working at our new jobs this week, and we're very excited about it. But like when I wake up on Monday next week and I'm not thinking about, all right, 5 episodes of Locked On Bulls, here we go.
Right.
It's just gonna, like, even just taking Locked On Bulls out of my vernacular is gonna take a while. My brain has 2 parts, and 2% of my brain is interacting with my existence as an adult human being and doing my laundry and going to the store and interacting with humans and that. The other 98% is thinking about the Bulls and Locked On Bulls. And it's it's going to take some time to realize that that's not what it is anymore.
Yeah, man, it's so wild. And I ain't even been here that long, and I still feel that, this is still like hard, you know what I'm saying? Because I really enjoy it, just doing this and doing it with Matt. I see Noah in the comments said, Matt Day, can I get an Antonio Blakeney rant before y'all leave?
he's going up. Oh, Blakeney's going up.
He's going up, man. Going up, clang.
He came this close to having a season in which he attempted more shots than made passes.
Dude, I would never forget that. That is the wildest stat.
This close.
It's the wildest stat.
This close.
Going up. It's going up, baby.
Man. So I think we made mention of it on social or maybe also on the pod a few months back when Locked On Bulls crossed the 1,000 episode mark.
Yeah. That
1,000 episode mark included the OG hosts of this podcast, who we should also thank, Sean Highkin and Cody Westerland. They are the OGs. People have been referring to me and Dave as the OGs of Locked On Bulls in the last week when people have heard about our exit. That is not true. Sean Highkin and Cody Westerland were the original hosts of Locked On Bulls, and I was a listener. I listened to them do this podcast. And that is, I think, the really cool thing, because as now, I have hosted 992 episodes of this podcast. This will be 993. Wow. So close to the 1,000 mark myself. So close. But you know what? The thing that makes that okay is that we are passing it on to people in not only Hayes of Chicago Bulls Central, who you all got to meet and chat with, hear us chat with yesterday, but also the other news that just dropped today is that he is bringing in a co-host, and it is none other than Pat, the designer, who some of you might know from his incredible work doing the Windy City Breeze, his YouTube channel. He and his crew have been like live streaming and live broadcasting Bulls games this season, doing an incredible job there. Really? And at the same way that I listened to Sean Highkin and Cody Westerland host this podcast 5 years ago, Dave and I are passing off this podcast to people who have been listening to this podcast. And that is exactly what I think, not just Bulls content, but sports media in this great sports city of Chicago is all about. Big Dave, you and I have a mutual friend, Lawrence Holmes, over at 670 The Score, a former colleague at NBC. And when he is talking about his path through this industry, he says something often: lift as you climb. And every time that you have an opportunity to take the next step in your career, make sure that you are doing everything you can to bring those who you respect and those who you want to see succeed up along with you. And that is why this transition is something that I feel very, very good about.
That's some real talk right there, man. But I also just want to reiterate, Bulls fans, we're not going away. We're not going away, guys. Like, this is not like we're just going to, ESPN or something, you know what I mean? We're not going away. We're still gonna be talking Bulls, and we still gonna be ridiculous, and it's still gonna be silly, and it's still gonna be weirdo stuff and all that awesomeness happening. So you can expect more of the same. I promise you. We're gonna continue to do this. So you'll be able to find us, you'll be able to listen to us and continue to enjoy us, man. You just now have more options now, man, for your Bulls fandom, man. So continue listening to Locked On Bulls and come check us out when you can, because we will be around and it'll be easy to find, for real.
Last person that I must mention, Jordan Malley.
Jordan.
Not here without Jordan Malley. Love and appreciation to him. You guys listen to Jordan and I do Bulls podcast together for damn close to 5 years. And that is something. All right.
It's a thing.
I love you guys. I love Bulls Nation. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Dave, I love you. I appreciate you, my man.
Love you too, brother.
Here's to the next step. For the last time here on Locked On Bulls, Matt, Big Dave, C-Red, be good. Hayes and Pat,